going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. If you read the title, you already know that this is part 2 to my aquarium slash milk bath nails. Part 1 was basically an attempt. I did not have the right materials, and yeah, they pretty much look a hot mess. I really wanted to redeem myself with that. I didn't want to leave y'all just with that result because I knew I could have did 10 times better. So I went on handy dandy Amazon and I bought some things, regrouped, and got myself together. And I think I'm ready to try it all over again. I'm just ready to jump right in, honestly. So let's go ahead and get into it. So if you have not seen part 1, I need you to go ahead and watch part 1 first. It was basically me attempting to do this nail design that I saw on Instagram. I thought it was super creative, never seen anything like it. So yeah, we're gonna try it again. So I said in part 1, part 2 is going to be like night and day to part 1. You guys are going to see a tremendous difference from this. I don't know what exactly I was thinking with this, but listen, it's going to be super different than this, and I can't wait for you guys to see it. So if you're interested in seeing how I improved with this nail set and how I attempted to recreate this milk bath slash aquarium nail set, keep on watching. But first, let's go ahead and get into our notification shout out. So these are the first 3 people commented on my last video. Thank you guys so much for having your post notifications turned on. And if you would like a shout out just like these 3 people here, all you have to do is to make sure you are subscribed and your post notifications are turned on. That way you can be notified each and every time I post and possibly be one of the first 3 people to comment on my videos. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so of course, to start off, I have my 2 coats of top coat already on my nails, ready to go. So I can pop these babies right on off after I'm done. So this time around, I'm gonna do things a little bit differently than I did in part 1 because, like I said, we're learning from our mistakes. So as you can see here, I have a group of cover tips, and then I have a group of regular nail tips. So instead of applying a cover tip to my nail first, I'm gonna start with a regular nail tip. This change is basically going to create more space inside of the nail for things to move around, but I'm going to show you guys that a little bit later. But of course, for our cover tips, we're going to have glue trades. You can find these cover tips on Amazon. You can find it on my Amazon storefront. And then for the nail tips, these are the nail tips. I'm not going to try to pronounce that name because I'm going to butcher it, I already know, but I will have both the cover tips and the nail tips in my Amazon storefront so you guys can find it. But of course, to apply the nail tip to my nail, I'm going to use KDS nail glue. So we're going to put some nail glue on the nail tip and go ahead and apply that. Trying to adhere a nail to a smooth, shiny surface is always harder. So I just got to hold that nail there until I feel like it dried on up on me, and then we're good to go. And then, of course, I did all the other nails off camera as usual. But now we got to cut these things down because last time I did them, I left them extra long. And I want to go shorter this time. I do not want to leave them this long. So I am going to cut them down. They're still going to be long, just not extra long. So I got my scissors, my nail scissors, and we're just gonna chop the nails down a notch. And then of course we gotta file the free edge straight. This is a pana file that I'm using to do this. It's an 80 grit pana file. And that is that. As you can already tell, I went on and filed the rest of them off camera. Now we can move on to the very next part, which is putting that milky white base on there. So of course I'm going to be using this polish right here. This is from Temu. This is a milky white gel polish, and I'm just gonna put, I think I ended up putting 2 coats, but I did 1 coat on camera for you guys to see, but I did 2 coats to really get that milky white pigment that I want. And of course, if you do not have milky white gel polish, you can make your own just by putting a little bit of white gel polish into some clear top coat. Mix that bad boy together, and then you have a milky white gel. Before Temu gave me this milky white gel polish, that's all I've been doing, was mixing white into that clear top coat. So yeah, it all works the same. You'll get the same look. And just like last time, I'm using my Macart Pro UV nail lamp to cure my nails. And this is how all of the nails look, all cured with 2 coats of that milky white gel, like I said before. And then now we can get out our cover tips and go ahead and apply them. So I think in part 1, I told you guys that I put a size smaller on top of the nail that's already on there. But this time I just got the normal size that I would put on there, not a size smaller. And look at all of this extra space inside of the nail. And that's what I need. We need space for things to move around in there. And because last time it was very hard for me to put stuff in the nail. So I think this time around it's going to be a lot easier getting stuff in there, because there's going to be a bigger gap right there at that free edge to stuff in there. So I just showed you guys the top coat that I'm using from Madam Glam, and I went on and got out my Melody Susie that I'm going to use to flash cure these 2 nails together. And I'm going to apply 1 coat of top coat on my nail, and then all I'm going to do is press that cover tip onto it. Really not press, I just really sat it on top, and then I'm making sure that it's straight, it's not crooked, straight on the nail. And then once I'm satisfied with the way it's sitting, I'm going to go ahead and flash cure it with my Melody Susie here. And all I gotta do to turn on this lamp is tap the top of it, and that UV lamp will come right on, which is why I love this Melody Susie little UV lamp. It actually doubles as an LED lamp and a UV lamp, which is pretty cool. So after doing all the rest of the nails, this is how they look. So already we got way more space than last time. So I feel good about trying to get the flowers into the nail. And from a side view, they look so much better than before. Like before, it was super bulky. This time, since we use a regular nail tip instead of a cover tip to start off with, it's not going to be as bulky as before. So I'm happy that I made that change, because that's going to help in the long run. But we have to seal up the sides and the cuticle area. So let's get on to that. I'm going to use acrylic. I have some clear acrylic here by Valentino. And then the monomer I'm using is from Not Polish. And then the acrylic brush that I'm going to use to apply the acrylic is from Kiara Sky. So I'm using different brands all over the place, but it's okay. Still going to get the job done. So yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and seal up these sides. Okay, so now that that's right on out the way, of course, I got to get out my nail drill and go ahead and snatch my cuticles right on up. I'm using a carbide bit, and this drill is from Macart. But I'm also going to use my drill just to take off the extra little piece that's hanging off of the free edge. and kind of even that out a little bit more. And then I'm going to take my hand file just to file everything else really lightly. We don't have to do much because I don't want to file too much and then create a hole on the side, and then whenever I fill in the nail, it'll start leaking or something like that. So I want to still make sure all the sides are sealed up, because I didn't put a thick layer of acrylic. All the acrylic that's on the sides are very thin. All the nails are finished. This is how it looks from a side view, and now we can move on to the next step. So I am going to go ahead and make the little pieces that I'm going to use to cover the free edge, so I can just have that step right on out the way. So I'm going to use polygel, and here I have a nail form, and I'm just going to put a dab of the polygel on the nail form, and then use a polygel nail brush just to pat it flat. I just want to make it just a little small square, just small enough to cover the actual free edge. And then I'm going to cure it under my UV nail lamp. So I cured it for about 10 seconds, and I'm just going to peel it off, set it to the side until we need it later. So let's get into these flowers. So these are the flowers that I've been talking about, I swear, on everything. I had these flowers, but I misplaced them, so I had to buy some new ones. I got these from Amazon, and on Amazon, they're called wood chip flowers, and this is how they look. And not only the flowers, we have these little pieces, these little iridescent pieces here. These are the same exact little pieces that the creator from the video put inside of her nails. So I'm glad I had these on hand. I don't remember where I got these from, honestly. So we can go ahead and get started now. I have this white food coloring. Now, unfortunately, this white food coloring isn't oil based. So I'm going to have to use water instead of cuticle oil to put inside of the nail. This might affect the way the actual flowers and the other iridescent pieces move around in the nail. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that this still will turn out pretty cute, hopefully. But I did get a syringe. I've seen a lot of people use syringes to help get the liquid inside of the nail, and I got this from Amazon. So we have this. Use this with caution, though. These syringes are very sharp. But this is the flower. Now, if you can look, the flower is very big. I can't get this one inside of the pointer finger. So I had to cut some of them up, but most of them fit. But yeah, some of the flowers I had to cut up just to get in the pointer and in the pinky finger. But I think all the other fingers were okay. But I'm going to be using tweezers just to pick them up and slide them on in the nail. But you can see here, I'm cutting this one in half. Really, if anything, they were too wide. That's what the problem was. But I'm putting the iridescent pieces in there as well. And I really didn't want to stuff too much in there because already we're at a disadvantage because we're not using oil, we're using water. So I think that's enough. I'm going to go ahead and start putting some water in there. So I know I have a lot of kids and younger people that watch my content. Listen, if you are not of age, please, please, please do not use syringes to try to fill up your nails or anything like that. These are very, very pointy, and just no, don't use a syringe. I don't feel comfortable in telling you guys it's okay to use a syringe. No, you can use little droppers. They work just as fine. You might not get it directly in, well, all of the liquid directly in the nail with droppers, but it's way safer than using a syringe. I wasn't really satisfied with the tint of white, how white the actual water was. It didn't really look milky. So I added a couple drops more in there just to make it a little bit more milky. We need this to look like milk. At this point, I should have just used milk at this point. But I am going to go ahead and seal this one right on up. I'm using just a regular top coat, and I'm just putting it on the free edge, on the edges. And then I'm going to take those little polygel squares that I already place to the side, and I'm going to put some top coat on top of that, and then just place that on the free edge, and then we're going to flash cure that all together so that can hold in all of that liquid. And there she goes. That's how it is looking. Now already as I'm moving it around, I can tell nothing is moving around in the nail, which is a little disappointing, but it's not something that I didn't expect. The water's definitely moving around, but the flowers aren't moving. So if you want to do this nail design, I will highly recommend you get some food coloring that is oil based, that is not water based. That way you can use cuticle oil with your food coloring, and your items, whatever you put in the nail, will be moving around inside of the nail way better than what mine are. But after you finish using your syringe, please make sure you put that top back on that syringe so that needle isn't just laying around and no accidents happen. But I filled up and sealed all of the other nails off camera, and now all that's left to do is take my drill and go ahead and drill down the free edge, the little poly gel piece that we put on the free edge. I'm just gonna drill it all the way down so it sits flush to the rest of the nail. We want it to be drilled down and look like all one nail, but I don't want to drill it down too much and puncture it and have the water that's inside leaking out. So that's what I'm gonna do right now. So next I'm gonna buff out my nail and make sure we get all of the scratches out. So I put some rhinestones on here last minute off camera. I'm sorry I didn't film it, guys, but I'm just gonna go ahead and top coat this and we are all done. I'm using some top coat from Madam Glam, and the rhinestones is a rhinestone kit that I got from Amazon. I will have it in my Amazon storefront so you guys can find it. Okay, so this is the finished product, and as I already said before, the flowers aren't really moving around inside of the nail, but you can see the liquid is, so we still got a little bit of movement, but overall I feel like it still looks better than before. Like, y'all let me know, y'all rate this one in the comments down below against the one that I did before. It's obviously 10 times better. I think the only thing that's a little disappointing is the fact that nothing inside of the nail is moving around and you can barely kind of see it, but it still gives the milk bath vibe. So I'm still really liking it. I still really love this set. I think it's super creative, and yeah, I would do it again with some oil-based food coloring, but I'm not going to say I am going to do it again because I'm probably not going to have time, because guess who has gel polishes? Shein has gel polishes, and I'm mad I'm just not finding out about it. So y'all already know I put in my order, and I will have a gel polish unboxing for you guys coming from Shein really soon, as soon as I get the stuff in. So expect that from me next, and thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I will see you guys in my very next video next weekend. Bye guys.